Welcome back to Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network. I am Flannel Sam filling in for Neil Rule. The man to my left is Darren McCarty. And right now we are joined by Dr. Jeff Pierce for his weekly appearance on this show. And I'm really excited to talk to you because, well, the circumstances, unfortunately, are not great. But Ronald Acuna Jr., one of the brightest young stars in all of Major League Baseball, just suffered his second ACL tear in his career. I believe he tore his right one in 2021, and he just tore his left one just a couple of days ago, and now he's expected to, well, he's going to miss the rest of the season. So tell me what the recovery is going to be like for him and if he's going to be the same baseball player moving forward.
So, I mean, it's another ACL. I know we talk a lot about that and with football. And happy Memorial Day, guys.
Happy Memorial Day.
Throwing that out there.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, this guy is so, what's the best word, tenacious. I mean, he's just a fun player to watch. He makes baseball fun to watch. Like the commissioner said, or a couple people said, baseball is going to miss him. As far as the ACL and the second leg, he's going to go through the same rehab. He came back from the first one and they won, and he's performing at a high level. Do you lose a step? Yeah, you functionally lose a step when you get an ACL, but as he becomes stronger. I don't know the delta difference because he's already been through one of them already, so he's already improved himself to a level that he should be a higher trained athlete and not taking life for granted. So this one, I mean, if I had a bet, I think in a year we're going to see him playing again.
Yeah, no, certainly ACLs aren't what they used to be, but I don't know about you, but it was one of those where I'm a big baseball fan. I love watching Ronald Acuna, and that one kind of hit me a little bit. It's like, man, Acuna is going to be out again. I mean, did you get that same feeling as well?
Yeah, I mean, what did he do last year? He did 70 and 40 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, like, unusually unbelievable. And to come back from his ACL and perform like that. So this guy he's got that whole other mental picture that will overcome. I've been watching a lot of stuff on attitude and I am kind of attitude. And I think it's a great message to the listeners, to the people, and watching these guys. Like Darren McCarty was I am type of guy back in the day that I witnessed. And it wasn't so pronounced. And now with social media, it's like that positive attitude. These guys, like there was a study done out of Harvard, your attitude going in is probably 90% of what you're going to succeed in. So they found that the billionaires, the most successful people, were all like, I will be successful. I am successful. I am good. So it's like, Chris Osgood, I got to refer back to the day. Chris Osgood was a great goalie, right? The reason he was a great goalie is because he has short-term memory. He didn't remember anything bad. He remembered everything good, right? Can you back that up?
No, 100%. I mean, the back in the day, and it was so we were raised by Grant Fuhr, who was the goalie for the Oilers that won all the cups, and it started. And then his mantra was, "I'm going to let in one less than what we score. So if it's 6-5, I let in 5. I don't care. We win. If it's 2-1, I got to do that." That's the mentality. And if anybody ever put bad goals and game losses, remember Al McGinnis beat him from the red just outside the blue line in St. Louis.
Oh yeah,
and we came back and won that series. The one thing about Chris Osgood, and this is fortitude to anything else, is that after that bad moment or Langenbrunner's goal in Dallas, right, where comes back with the best, the greatest performance, you just knew it the next timeout. That's what the professionals do. I think in this case, Doc, I guess the question is it the same leg, the same knee?
Well, he just said, I thought it was the same, but you're saying it's the opposite.
So is there, like for me, right, I've had 3 sport hernia surgeries, right? So after coming back and from the first one, and knowing the time frame, the table, and we'll, as athletes, we'll push as hard as we can. And then we'll see the residual and play with the pain and go, okay, well, maybe next time I'm going to do it a little bit different. Is it the same thing? Because I'm not worried about coming back. Now with these knee injuries, we talked about it. They're not worried about coming back. It's just about what is the time frame.
We confirm that it's the opposite knee.
Everything I'm seeing is that it's the opposite.
Okay, so that means I thought we were going to lead to what is his risk of re-injury. Your number one risk factor for an injury is a previous injury. So with ACLs, they say, oh, we make it better, stronger, and tighter than it was organically. I don't know if I necessarily believe that theory. We want to, and we want the player to believe that, right? But in the back of his head, he's smarter, he's educated. You learn from every sports hernia, right? You knew the science, you knew what was going on. So in the big picture, it's this guy has the attitude, I am going to recover. I am coming back. You know, the Mamba, whatever you want to call it. But I think the message to the listeners and to the young listeners is like the attitude you come out with is 90% of who you're going to be, right? I mean, like a lot of guys we've seen through the years, players, doctors, I mean, just every part of life, the guys who's very positive, has a glass half full, is usually the more successful guy. Can you find pessimistic guys? Yeah, we can. But that I am means a lot. I am what? You know, how you describe yourself. What's your cortisone levels climb to, your adrenaline levels. It's all controlled by an attitude that you present as you're, you know, in this case, recovering. This guy's already out there, you know, he's bummed, he's upset, but he's already on the recovery track.
I can confirm it was both knees. One, the right knee 2022, left knee this year.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So I mean, he's got a much better chance of coming back. There's a lot of young athletes, especially female athletes, with double ACL injuries. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Is this one of those injuries too? Like the younger, it's better younger, or does it matter these days?
You're better off injuring yourself younger for recovery, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I mean, and he's what, 26? How old is he?
Let me look at it.
He's young.
He's
he's on the younger side.
He's 24, I believe.
24?
Younger than you even think.
I mean, it's sad. I mean, but then we can talk about muscle imbalance. Does he have a muscle imbalance? Because he's got some powerful thighs.
Nope, he's 26. You were right.
He's thick.
Once in a while, I get it.
No, he most certainly
I'm impressed with my 40-70 thing.
Hey, 40 home runs, 70 stolen bases. That was a hell of an accomplishment. I don't know if we'll ever see it again. Maybe not even from him. But I want to shift gears to Bill Walton. Unfortunately, Bill Walton passed away at the age of 71 over the weekend. And you said you had a couple of experience getting to meet him.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Bill's part of that alumni group that I get to hang out with Gervin and Dr. J and stuff like that. And it's funny because Bill would enter the room with all of us, and the guys, you know, he's jolly, he's goofy, you know, he's goofy, right? And the most polite way of friendly, he's infectious. He'll make some type of comment. It's just, he lives a very carefree life. And then he would leave, and then the guys would have a story about him. Everybody had a story about him, which I don't really want to repeat. But, you know, these are the guys that knew him through his whole career, through, you know, sitting out in Portland where they were calling him choice words by not playing because of foot injuries. You know, it's like, how do you not? And then he proved himself by recovering. So, you know, he was an unbelievable guy, and he was infectious, and he was, what's the word? You couldn't predict what he was going to do. Right? He was fun to have a presence, but unpredictable the whole time. And, you know, I got to experience it a couple times with some of the alumni guys. Obviously I'm with Gervin. He's got, you know, that he just says, Doc, that guy's just not right. So, you know, it's just, but in a polite way.
How about like, because we were talking about Bill Walton earlier, and Sam brought up the fact of, you know, accomplishments young, but a guy who injuries, right? And if Bill Walton was coming through this day and age, would the injuries that he had or what affected him, could it have been dealt with? Like if a guy's, there's a Bill Walton today, or was it something that, you know, you said his feet and his knees and like,
right. It was a lot of foot injuries. I don't know if you know, he left Portland because of the poor medical management of the team. That was one of his biggest reasons for leaving, that he felt he was not treated at the highest level of medical conditions. So to answer your question, the simple answer is, if he came to our group, for sure, he would have had a more less injured career, let's say. The technology, you know, he's in Portland. I don't know who those doctors are. You're not in the mecca of medicine in Portland. I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong, but maybe the advancements weren't there.
So that brings up that you totally flipped the question, but you brought up, so don't tell me what, tell me who, right? For anybody out there, and especially when you're young or whatever, it's where do you go to get your information, or who do you trust and stuff like that. And that's why we bring you Dr. Pierce every day. I mean, it's the history is right there. Me personally, with all our Red Wings teams back in the day and stuff like that, now to the pickleball director of the world or whatever you are.
That's
you
right.
know, the rock doc and everything like that. But it is very important, because you have to have that right program, just like anything else. And I'll forget it off of me. I'll go to my son, Griff, who I would bring to you because he had concussion
he did
issues
come to me back in the day
for whatever else. And he was a kid that, grew quicker. So he had a lot of, remember you did a lot of joint ailments and stuff like this. But again, and even when he got into his concussion problems. So I guess the point is that it's always important. And you'll be the first one to say is that, it's not bad. You don't take offense to get a second opinion.
No, I encourage it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Like I said, I am good at what I do.
You are.
Go challenge me. And I welcome it. I want it. I encourage it. When I can't get somebody right, I encourage them.
Here's it, like a little behind the thing is you'll have a program and we'll be working towards something like this, but Doc doesn't know different things, but say I'm doing something and it's irritating me. And I'll say, dude, can I do something else because this to get the main thing? Oh, I didn't know that was irritating. Right. So I had to communicate with you and you say, okay, we'll get the same thing and we'll do it a different way. That just the little things like that for your recovery, for your workout, all these things that we're talking about Aaron Glenn talking about Jack Campbell becoming a man and stuff like that. This is all the stuff, the little stuff that goes into it.
But it's also the team. Like when we had you rehabbing, we had the trainer, we had the therapist.
Everybody's on the same page. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's 99% of good recovery is that everybody's understanding the same thing. And if there's questions, like I have patients like, well, that was hurting me. Well, give them the feedback. Sometimes I have to explain to them, it's going to hurt for a little bit because you've been avoiding this movement. Or you know what? That doesn't make sense. You should be changing it up.
Or am I hurting something and this was the one no, that's scar tissue. You're pulling through the scar tissue, right?
Absolutely.
So
especially post-op spine injuries, spine surgery. There's a lot of scar tissues. There's a lot you have to do. They say just go home and rest. No, you got to go home and you got to do certain stretches. There's nerve stretches. There's a lot of things going on that's needed for easy recovery. That's why certain people recover in, half the time as others. I mean, you've got to have a good team. Fortunately with the professionals, there's very few holes, although I'm realizing there's a lot more holes in the NFL of treatment than I realized because of the avoidance, because it's flipping the other way. We're really getting off track here. Get back to Bill Walton.
You're good.
Basically, they're getting afraid because it is such a business and they know who's wearing what hat. The training system for the team is wearing the corporate hat versus the independents are wearing the hat for the player. So you're seeing more and more of these places popping up around the country that are doing a lot more treatment in the off season and during the season where, there's a secret sauce being done and the players need to have the confidence that I can talk about my injury in front and not worry about my contract the following year. So that's an unfortunate thing that's fighting the medical care that's being done by the team.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Pierce. That was medical director at Michigan Sports and Spine Centers and our injury insider here for his weekly appearance. Thank you so much.
Fresh off an eagle.
Fresh off of an eagle.
Flare driver, 5-iron to a foot. Way to go, Doc.
I mean, it was. I missed the other putt for my other birdie. It would have been a record day for me.
All right.
It was a short
Grind it, Doc.